Tip number one is going to be using the teleporter. So if I hit F, you can see the icon on the ground there. All I'm doing is left clicking and my drone is going to create a teleporter. If I die or I ever want to teleport back to this manually using the map, I can do that. Now you can place up to 3 of those as well. So you can see I have 3 of those down. I'm up at the pretty much the highest point I can be, besides these 2 peaks there. And then I'm going to hit M for map, and I can see where I can press H to see where the hotspots are. And then I've always got this vantage point which I can teleport back to and go to different areas from this high vantage point. So I can essentially jump off, start gliding down to areas that I haven't explored yet. So I'll go explore this area knowing it's a hotspot, then I can teleport back up to the top and go somewhere else. Also helps if you die in an encounter or falling off, then you'll be placed back at your teleporter, which is super handy. Tip 2 is going to be in regards to shard farming. So shards, if you didn't know, you can see here, these are my shards. These are essentially your Pokeballs. So these are what you're going to use to catch illuvials. The way you're going to get them is from these ores. I'll show you 3 different color or variations of these, and they're going to have different chances of getting a shard. So you're either going to get shards, ores, which are used for crafting equipment, or gems, which are also used in some crafting and also potentially when fusing your illuvials as well. So yellow is the least desirable if we're after shards. If I extract that, I'm probably not going to get a shard. You can see it's called bismuth. Yep, so just some ore there. That'll be again used for equipment crafting. Then if I jump down here, this ore has the second highest chance of getting shards, so I still don't usually extract from these, but you can if you want. So you can see there it's like a greyish purple geodyne, and I still don't get a shard from that. You can see another one there. This is the one that you want to prioritize, the green one. If I extract from that, I still might not get a shard, but it's going to have the highest chance of getting a shard. Lazarite. Yeah, so no shard there, but it is the highest chance of getting a shard. Tip number 3 is in regards to the plants. So this ties in with leveling, which I'll talk about a little bit later as well. Essentially, these are the plants you want to prioritize harvesting. So these are called flint caps, and if I harvest that, then I'll go into my inventory. It's done.
Got it.
You can see the inventory flint cap comes up on the right there. It won't come up until I'm out of the run and I've used all my flint cap already. But essentially, you come into your inventory, you press Z to get your illuvials up, and then you'll hover over it. It'll be the flint cap in here. And it's going to give you anything from 50% to 250, maybe 350% increased experience just from that one encounter. So you would drag and drop it onto your illuvials that you want. So if we imagine what I've used them on is trying to level these Cuculus, and I've just been dragging and dropping them onto there before an encounter that I'm versing a lot of illuvials where I'm going to gain a lot of experience. And that's a very key way to leveling, because leveling can be quite time consuming, and as you can imagine, 300% XP or up to 300%, 350 XP is pretty big for an encounter. As for the other harvestable plants, they all just give combat stats, and some of them are quite good. You can see here the dragon eggs deal pure damage per second to enemies in a small area, so things like that. And obviously the higher rarity, the more, it's the kind of the same stats, but the more of those stats they give. There is the ring nuts here that you can see gives shard integrity, and you might not know what that is. There's a thing called shard integrity with the illuvials. So the more you use them in your given run, the more they'll get fatigued. And once they're at a certain level of fatigue, you'll see like a red icon come up on them, and they'll be less effective at that point. You can restore their shard integrity using the item. For this next tip, I'm going to talk about leveling, stats, and fusing kind of all in one, because they all tie in together. And we've talked a little bit how to level. So obviously you're going to be going into encounters and battling with your illuvials. So you obviously want to select what illuvials you want to level. In my case, I'm focusing on the Cuculus to evolve them. So I'm mostly using the flint cap on them and mostly using them in the encounters. The less illuvials you have on the board, the more concentrated experience you're going to have on the illuvials you have on the board. And to fuse an illuvial to the next stage, you're going to need 3 of the previous stage illuvials, and you're going to need a certain amount of experience. So right there, I just selected all 3 of these illuvials to fuse them into a revo, and I've got enough combined experience to do that. So you can see the bars filled up there, and then I'm going to need 3 of these revos, stage 2, to fuse into a stage 3, and that's going to require a lot more experience. And we can see here, to get to the Kukaraf, I've got a level 30, 26, and 24, and I still don't quite have enough experience. So you can catch stage 2 illuvials. You can see here I've got 2 Dokas, and you can notice that you usually catch them very low level. So level 1 to level 10 is probably the best you'll find. And you might be thinking, is it better to wait and catch a stage 2 alluvial or level 3 stage 1s and fuse them into the stage 2? And I think the answer here is either. And what you would want to do is, and the reason I say either is because it's going to be the same amount of experience, because when you fuse 3 stage 1s together, you combine their experience anyway. You can see here my Revo is already level 20 after I've fused 3 stage 1s, whereas if I was to catch one in the wild, he would be maybe level 1 and I would still have to level him all the way up to level 20, so it's about equal experience. As you're working towards the stage 3, like the Kukaraf, you're going to just combine your stage 1s with really good stats, and I'll talk about the stats in a second, into a stage 2 with really good stats, and then once you have 3 stage 2s with really good stats, either by combining the stage 1s or by catching them in the wild, you'll then use those 3 to fuse. I hope that makes sense. So you're really just searching for the best stats, whether that's 3 stage 1s or catching a stage 2 in the wild. So catch them all essentially. So why do the stats matter? We can see here with the Monkia, this represents health, resistances, mega power, attack speed, and attack damage. And wherever the hex is highlighted is how much stats you're getting for that alluvial. So for here, this Monkia is getting max health, max resistances, about half the potential with attack damage and attack speed, and very little to no Omega Power. So very poor stats in regards to Omega Power, which isn't important for him. However, if I look over here, same again, and pretty good with this one as well. So max attack speed and attack damage for him. Horrible to have him tanky, and I really want attack speed and attack damage. So yeah, how does this work when you fuse them? What's going to happen is if I fuse all 3 of these together, it's going to, we'll just take health for example. It's going to have a 1 in 3 chance of randomly picking the health stat from this Monkia. 1 in 3 chance of picking the health stat here. So that's going to be 2 in 3 chance of being max health and 1 in 3 chance of being just shy of max health. So just for the health stat, fusing these 3 is going to have 2 in 3 chance of max HP stat and 1 in 3 chance of just shy of perfect health. So ideally you're going to be fusing these into an NFT that you potentially might sell. So just to summarize there, say you're trying to achieve a Kukaraf like I have. Your goal would be to catch all the stage 1 and stage 2 alluvials of that line that you can. Combine the stage 1s with perfect stats into a stage 2, or if you get lucky enough you might find a stage 2 perfect stats, level that up until you have 3 stage 2s with the stats you want and combine them into the stage 3. Using the final tip here, real quick, if we come into Forge, what I would recommend upgrading the most, so you can see if you come to equipment, you have your jetpack, boots, and visor. So you start off with the basic versions and you can upgrade them to advanced versions. You'll need to build the basic ones and then deconstruct them for these items here that you need to make the advanced versions. I'd recommend starting with just upgrading the visor. This will just help you identify far easier where the resources are and alluvials are as you're running through the regions. You'll have a greater distance on what your visor can see with the other side ability. The jetpack and the boots are nice, but it basically just means they use a little bit less energy. In terms of drone upgrades, I like the capture power, and you can switch in and out of mining energy reduction, encounter energy reduction, just depending on whether you're going in to farm resources or you've got enough shards and you're really just going after catching alluvials. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. The registration for the private beta and the open beta is down below, so you can click on that and register to get access to the airdrop. And there will be some updates with Overworld, but I've checked and most of these tips should still hold true come the updates. But I'll keep you updated throughout the open beta. If you appreciate that, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.